It is cold and we have travelled about an hour to Mansfield to cherish or honour a tip-off in Cash Monkey. Now, I own a copy of Castlevania on the Sega Mega Drive. However, it's got no manual. And I believe, if it's still there, there's going to be a copy in there. So if it is, we're going to be grabbing it. If it's got manual. If not, we're kind of screwed. But it's been an eventful week. You may have seen the awesome collab that myself and Callum, aka Retro Ghetto, did. Top guy, finally amazing to work together. He knows what the grind is like. He knows what the score is in regards to content and collecting. Here's a plug. Go and check it out. Go and check that episode out. His and mine. Because you won't be disappointed. And we want to make good content for you. So, back to today's episode. Going to be hitting up a couple of places. Also going to dive into the CX because it's a massive CX. Really, really good CX. And hopefully we'll find that copy of Castlevania as well as some additional hidden gems. Now, who knows what we're going to find? But that, Team 24, is the thrill of the hunt. Let's do it. A little bit of Bomberman there on the Super Nintendo, Bomberman 2. Nice. Oh my god, look at that. 100 quid. No manual, it's quite sun faded, isn't it? It's not bad. So look at the cover. Okay, and it's 100, yeah. Lovely, thank you, thanks.
That could be
Negotiated, yeah. Okay, cool, I'll send it to him.
That as well.
Yeah.
That as well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
A bad selection, Crash Beam Bang there. Looks pretty tacky, to be fair. 15 quid. Box looks really nice condition, not too shabby. Ooh, a little bit of proving ground. Prices aren't too bad on these, to be honest with you. Not too shabby. Now, I've been playing this on stream and it is so good on the Switch. I have it on the Wii and the 3DS though. Such a good game. Nice selection of Nintendo bits in. Tropical Freeze as well. I actually have that sealed. It's quite obscure. I've always admired the box art on it. The Dark Prince. Dragon Quest Monsters. We got, this is cheap, 18 quid. That is a bargain. Some really nice PS1 stuff in, PS1, PS2, sorry, got my words out. That's becoming harder to find. Some good PS3 games though. Alright, Dragon's Crown. 6 playable classes. Time to check some gameplay on that. So the Dragon's Crown looks really, really good. And you can see from the gameplay here, it's got beautiful pixel art as well. I really like the character design. It seems like really a lot of detail, a lot of really cool detail. So it's like an RPG side scroller, and I just absolutely fell for it. The minute I checked the gameplay, I knew I needed it because I've never seen it out and about in the wild before, and it does go for around kind of like 20 to 30. But I did get quite a decent bargain on it. And it wasn't just that they had in. I mean, check it out here, The Godfather at 55 quid. And this, Sly Cooper. I mean, this place just was the gift that kept on giving. And it goes to show you can find games in the most unlikely places. A little bit of Mario paint as well in at 50 quid. That's not bad. Check that heavy hitter. Absolute gold mine. As you saw, or you may have saw, that I picked up Dragon's Crown on the PlayStation 3, which you do not see that often. Now, I picked it up for 15 quid. It is an American copy, and I've since learnt that it featured in one of Metal Jesus' PS3 hidden gem videos, so I really do think that place was a great tip-off. Of course, the tip-off was correct because Castlevania was there. Now, unfortunately, I didn't pick it up because it was sun damaged and it didn't include the manual. And it wasn't just the cover that was sun damaged, but the cart as well, the game art on the cartridge. Now I think with something like that, you really need it in a much better condition, because let's face it, you can play Castlevania on the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive. I think you can play it through like the Switch Online. I'm pretty sure it's on the Mega Drive Mini. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going for this nice collector's piece, I really want it in a nice collector's piece. So, I'm like that. Would you have picked it up? You need to just think about it. If you skip the footage, go back, watch it, let me know. Now, before we dive into this next place, I'm going to head over to my friends at Game Older Podcast. We're going to start with Heather, and she's going to tell us about some of the games that she's picked up recently. We're also going to hear later in the episode from Tom and Stu. It's a really nice feature. Check out Game Older. Everything is in the description as well, so a fantastic podcast. But now I'm going to hand the reins to Heather.
Hi Gemma and everyone, thank you so much for having me on this episode. I'm Heather, host of Game Older Podcast, and today I'm here to talk to you about some of my recent gaming pickups. So I've been collecting mostly for PlayStation 1 lately, and most of these pickups came from a shop called Trade and Play in Birkenhead near Liverpool. If you're ever in the area, go and check it out. It's full to the rafters with games, consoles, merch for all systems. But this first pickup is a game called Louvre, The Final Curse, also known as The Messenger. And this only cost £10, complete with manual. If you've never played it, you play as a Secret Service agent in Paris and you explore the Louvre, uncovering mysteries. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that one. Now, this next pickup is one that most people have probably played on the PlayStation 1. It's Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. If you've never played it, imagine Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but on a BMX, and it's in fantastic condition, complete with manual, and it only costs £6, so that's a bargain for me. And this third pickup is somewhat of a holy grail item for me. I love all things Evil Dead, and this one is a sealed copy of Evil Dead Hail to the King. If you can see there, it is completely sealed. It's also in a plastic casing to protect it. And I'm not going to open this one, it's going to remain sealed. As much as I love the game, this was a rare find for me out in the wild. And this one cost £80, which is a bargain for a somewhat rare game that's completely sealed. And this next one isn't a recent pickup, but it's one that I just wanted to talk about. Discworld Noir. So most people are familiar with Discworld 1 and Discworld 2 on the PlayStation 1. Not so many people have played Discworld Noir. Now, if you're a Terry Pratchett fan, it's a must play. It's more of that lore from the Discworld universe, where you play as a detective who is also a werewolf. So if you haven't played it, check it out. It's a fantastic point and click game for the PlayStation 1. And that's everything from me today and all of my pickups. And you can find Game Older Podcast here on YouTube or on all major podcast platforms. Thank you very much.
Heather literally knocking that out the park with that sealed game. I remember having that years ago. I don't think I even have that game in my collection, and I personally thought that was a bargain at 80 quid. Now, that particular store she went to is on my list. It's one of the most recent most recent stores I've added to my list. So I will be going there to do a full breakdown of what you can expect from Trade and Play very, very soon. So stay tuned and we'll hear more from the Game Older Podcast crew later in this episode. Thanks, Heather. Well, it's congratulations to me, who happened to have her lav mic buried under about 14 layers of clothing, therefore making this lavalier mic part of the video completely unusable. But not to worry, happily you get behind the scenes voiceover Gemma instead. So let's just dive straight into this CEX, and straight off the bat we've got a lovely Metroid game on the Game Boy, albeit a very battered box. This CEX, so this is in Mansfield, so same town as we have just been to Cash Monkey in. This CEX does have really good retro stock. I've been in some CEXs and their retro stock is absolutely shocking. Pure shocking. Now this lot is literally just through the door as you walk in. A lovely array of, some G-Lock, some Bug on the Sega Saturn. I was saying that this is a really good game at a really good price. I need to replace my NTSC disc. And then of course Perfect Dark. Whoa, the condition on this box, only 22 quid. Look how nice that box is for only 22 quid. Now I have it, but I potentially should have bought it again just because I could have replaced the box out. Now the Jaguar there, boxed as is the box right behind the counter there, this Jaguar looked absolutely awesome. They are worth a fortune, an absolute fortune. I have quite a good Jaguar collection and I definitely want to devote more time to it. I recently picked up Zool 2 at one of the gaming markets last year, at the Doncaster Gaming Market, and it's just a great iteration of Zool 2. Playing it on the Atari Jaguar is so much fun. It just looks the best I've seen out of all of the kind of Zool games, if I'm brutally honest, even on the Amiga. Now over to the 360 stuff, and I was saying here that I recently managed to find one of my 360 games, Venetica, which I picked up in it was a episode that I did at Super Game Shack. Their CEX in Leicester was absolutely crud compared to this, and this is actually a smaller CEX, so yeah, kind of interesting. Now this is nice for a quid. This has been at about a quid for quite some time. Table tennis, got some Tenchu 2, which I would have picked up had this not have been a cover reprinted. It is the dastardly CEX situation where people just kind of go in, steal the cases, and they have to reprint the covers. So do me a favour, stop stealing cases if you're one of those stupid people, please. You're spoiling it for us collectors, thank you very much. Now Space Marine, 20 quid, never played it. Want to hear from you if you've played it. Is it worth 20 quid? This has dropped in price, this is 8 quid. And again, just kind of scouring the stuff here. Really good 360 selection here, really nice. Now this caught my eye because I'm a sucker for a racer. Really nice condition, 4 quid, we've got some Race Pro. We're just gonna put that in the maybe pile. Got some Nier, really good. Never not played that for like years actually. I actually played that on launch. Never really given it a shot since then. Maybe I should. Some Fight Night, and again just kind of moving around. This is a hidden gem. I mentioned this in a video I did back in 2023 before I decided to devote the channel entirely to retro game hunts. And I actually said that is a hidden gem. It's a really good game, so you need to go and grip it if you've not got it. I think the 360 is still quite cheap to buy for, and we're in that situation as with the PS3 where things are still cheap, but give it another 5 years, guys, and both the PlayStation 3 and 360 generations are going to escalate in price. Now just scoping through some last bits here on PS3, never seen this before, Under Defeat HD. Again, the bangers kept on coming, the expensive titles kept on coming, and I actually surprised myself because I picked up a few bits. Silent Hill Homecoming definitely eclipsed Under the Shadow of Silent Hill 2. I've mentioned it in many a video, but when we get back to the Lady Lounge, you'll see what I've kind of gripped and picked up. Now, I love the box art here, and I wasn't sure if this was a bargain or not. I've since realised that it was pretty much on par for what eBay sell it for. You might have said I'd missed out there because the condition was so good, but nonetheless, it kind of went back on the shelf, guys. So back to the PlayStation 3, and oh my goodness, £28 for GTA San Andreas. Let's just put this into perspective. This came out a flipping long time ago. This copy looked absolutely battered. It definitely needed a case replacement, but I could not believe how expensive that was. But we need to get some GTA 6 this year, so come on, Rockstar. Anyway, Ratchet & Clank Nexus, this is one I've never played, and I did consider it locking it in at 30 quid, and Monkey Island, is that the special collection there, 42, now I've never really been a point and click kind of girl, to be honest, never really been a point and click kind of girl, but I know there's a lot of Monkey Island fans from way back on the Amiga days, which is really cool. But I digress, because we have this beauty and it's 70 quid, never seen it, and this is what I mean, I love seeing the stuff that you never see, but we didn't get it. But we did get some cool bits. Pretty amazing bit of CX there. I did pick up some really nice stuff. They had some really nice gems in, and aside from the fact that my lav mic was buried under 17,000 layers, I thought that was a really cool trip. So we're gonna get back. I'm gonna organise a few bits, got bits to show you, and actually got a hidden gem on the Switch that was recommended to me by one of my gold members here on YouTube. We had a chill and chat with him, monthly chill and chat for gold members, and he recommended this hidden gem that I'm going to stream this Sunday on Kick, actually, so I'm going to show you that as well. Maybe you've heard of it. You've definitely heard of the game that it's based on. But anyway, I think it's time to hear from our second guest from the Game Older podcast. Stu is going to talk through 3 of the games he's playing at the minute, and hopefully a few recommendations for you guys. Stu, over to you.
Hello, Team 24. It's Stu here from Game Older podcast, and I'm here today to talk about 3 of my most recommended games from my collection, and hopefully you enjoy them too. So let's get into it. Number one being Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 is an excellent platformer. It's so funny. The dialogue is absolutely brilliant. It's wacky, it's wonderful. It's created and designed and inspired by Tim Schafer and the team from known style of games from the past. It's absolutely stunning, and I fully recommend it if you like platformers. Number 2, we're coming in with Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars is a classic throwback to retro RPGs. Now, you might be a bit scared, the word RPGs, but what I like to think this game as is a my first RPG. It's really simple, it's really straightforward, the story is excellent, the combat is great, which is turn-based, but don't let that put you off, because it's an excellent game. And like I said, it's a throwback to them retro RPGs, pixelated, it's absolutely stunning. I think that's available everywhere too, so you can pick that up now for a good deal as well. And then finally, number 3, goes something a bit more modern, a bit more out there, is Diablo 4. I always recommend this game. I absolutely love Diablo 4. I'd never really got into Diablo, and 4's actually really the only one I've played, but I was quite scared going into it. Will I like it? Will I not? But the story is absolutely brilliant. The lore of Diablo is fantastic. And as you might know from Activision Blizzard, the cinematics are absolutely spot on. Couldn't recommend it anymore. So they're my 3 games. Funny enough though, I don't actually own these games physically, but it's what it is. Still recommend them. Still excellent games. Have an amazing day, guys. See you soon. Bye.
So before I show you the glories of what we picked up, we're going to head over to our third member of the Game Older podcast now with Tom. Tom is awesome, and he's got a great Japanese collection, and he's very knowledgeable, and he's helped me out a lot in the past. So let's go over to Tom and take a look at some key pieces in his collection. And make sure you go and check out Game Older podcast, guys, because you will not be disappointed. Go on, Tom. What you got for us?
Hey Jem, hey Team 24, Tom Thumb here from the Game Older podcast, showing off some bits from my collection. So to start off with, we have a PS3 Yakuza 3 edition, very nice, with the dragon motifs on the front, fully boxed as well, all the way from Japan, lovely jubbly. Also have a PS4 Yakuza with the dragon on the front. Gorgeous, this got real good shine to it. Again, fully boxed, very nice. This dragon's very famous, right? Also have a Regulation 7 Dreamcast, one of my favourites. It just looks amazing in black. As everyone knows, these are quite hard to get hold of. Again, nicely boxed. Couldn't do a show off without showing off one of my Saturns. I love the Saturn, it's such a great console. Everyone should go buy a Saturn and play it. You must play Sega Saturn. I have Cannon Spike on a Dreamcast. Again, fantastic game, very hard to get hold of. Goes for quite expensive money now as well, but good fun. I have a copy of Res that I bought years ago, and my friend Jay from the Cane and Rinse podcast is friends with Mitsuguchi-san, so he got him to sign it for me, which is amazing. Also have a signed copy of Outrun Coast to Coast by Richard Jakes. I met him back in I think 2008. Lovely guy. Yep, one of my faves. Also Outrun 2 SP for the PS2, classic, not released here as well, which is good. I also have a Japanese limited version of Outrun 2 on the Xbox. So yeah, it's a great copy as well. Comes with all kind of cool stuff in it. So yeah, that's kind of just a couple of bits from my collection as requested. Thanks, Jim, and everyone look after yourselves and keep gaming.
Cheers, Tommy. Love it. Absolutely love it, especially your PlayStation 3. But in speaking of PlayStation 3, we've got some nice games to show you from this lot. Oh yeah, the tip-off did indeed pay off. So Cash Monkey, as you already know, didn't get the Castlevania game, but we've got the Leeds Market coming up on Sunday the 2nd, so I will be there. You can expect wicked content from that, so I might be able to find it there. Now, I don't want to pick it up because I think with a game like that, you really need it in crispy mint condition, because you can play it on the Switch online service. I believe it's on the Mega Drive Mini, also, and you know, Sega Genesis Mini. So it's like, you know what, I'm not in like a huge rush to get it because it probably just will be a collector's piece. So I kind of left it. But how cool were the rest of the games in there, especially Dragon's Crown? Again, told you, since realised that this was featured on a Metal Jesus episode as a hidden gem. So this looks pretty darn unique, like a side-scrolling RPG kind of madness. I'm gonna get the case replaced. You might not pick it up on the camera, but you can just see it there on the glare. It is a little bit battered, but it is just the outer case. Everything else is really, really nice. So it was well worth going in there. And sometimes it's those places when you're out on a hunt and you don't know what you're gonna get, and you go in and it really does come a cropper. So I was buzzing with that. Now, of course, we went to CEX. It's one of the better CEXs in terms of retro stock. Now, if you were eagle-eyed
in my voiceover because my lav mic was buried,
we got some Ratchet & Clank Nexus. So I've never been a huge Ratchet & Clank kind of girl, but I'm willing to expand my horizons here in 2025 and step away from my normal FPS brutal horror kind of games and have something a little bit more relaxed, a little bit like this. So that's why I picked it up, and this seems to be the going rate because sometimes you can get a bargain in CEX, sometimes you can on eBay, it just depends. But this is in nice condition, it is complete, and that's why I picked that up. And as well, Speaking of PS3, as you know, I'm a huge racer. I know nothing about cars, nothing at all. I'm not a petrol head, but I do like my racing games. So we picked up Split Second Velocity, and we also picked up Need for Speed Rivals. Both of these bad boys, cheap, 3 and 4, not too shabby. First played Need for Speed games on the PS1 with my brother. That's Need for Speed, not that. Get it right. First played on the PS1, but obviously I am willing again to expand my horizons because neither of these I have played. And I just thought the beauty of PS3 stuff at CEX, same as your 360, you can drop on some nice bargains, both in stellar condition. And then obviously downstairs, I've just moved my Resident Evil 5 edition 360 console down into the Lady Lounge. And I'm going to be playing some 360. So with this, we've got Race Pro. Again, really nice branding actually in here. This is great. I love how you can see all the different car logos in there. This manual is in beautiful condition. And again, I just love the artwork on the back here as well as the front. So we've got some real juicy stuff going on there. And overall, I am very happy with this hunt. So you did hear me mention a Switch game, and that, guys, is Road Redemption. You're looking at that. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing Road Rash. Classic game, love it on the PS1. Recently really started to get into Road Rash 3D as well as Road Rash Jailbreak. 3D is much better. And my friend Bullet, again, gold member, said, Jen, you need to get this. So I thought, you know what? This actually looks really good. It's available on PS4 as well, but it's a little bit more expensive on Switch. However, hear me out. Don't have a PS4 set up at the streaming setup there, and I didn't want to fill space on my PS5 by adding yet more games onto it. It's already full, my streaming PS5, so I thought, hell, I'm getting it on the Switch. So got it off Amazon. Pretty basic inside, as you can see. That makes me sad, however, it's physical media nonetheless. So I'm going to be giving this a go, and I want to know if any of you guys have played it. And I'd really like to see another Road Rash, but
who knows, maybe we'll get one, maybe we won't, but thankfully there's a plethora of them to play on your retro machines. If you don't like that, at least you've got a little bit of Road Redemption to pacify your time in the meantime. So fingers crossed we have a good stream on Kick on Sunday. Thanks, Bullet. Cheers.